What another interesting weekend of games. I think the big talking point is clearly the United-Liverpool match. And really the position Liverpool are in going forward. Obviously, it was a great game. There was some great play by United who didn't just sit back for a change. They had players like Donny van de Beek on from the start and made for an interesting game. And then Bruno came on and scored the winner. So that was quite a end-to-end, a very interesting football match. But I think this just highlighted what's the bigger issue at Liverpool at the moment, and it's something that's been covered up by Klopp's brilliance, his ability to get the max out of not just good players, but very average players and make them look better than they are. And we're now starting to see FSG, the ownership, being exposed, because ultimately to stay at the top, we've seen this with Sir Alex Ferguson, that you need to keep spending, and when your net spend is below, well, it's basically borderline nothing. And you don't recycle the team, it starts to take effect. The other teams catch up and overtake you. Your players become stale after a few years. The likes of Mane was being compared to Henry, which was ridiculous, because after just a few years of doing what he did. And I think it's starting to catch up now. And FSG have gotten away with it because the focus has been on the Glaziers and the Kroenkes at Arsenal, and because of the plight of the teams who are competing for the title for the last few years. And Klopp has managed to cover that up because his ability to get the most out of these players has been quite phenomenal, to be honest. And you just feel it's a natural progression. As you win, the players lose that little bit of hunger, and you have to refresh the team. Bring in guys that will keep that team at that same level. Not so much take it to the next level. When you're at the top, you need to keep bringing in people to keep them at that level. That's something Sir Alex Ferguson did so well, and it was very underestimated what he was doing there. Even when they won, they were bringing people like Berbatov, or the best player, or the best striker, or the best midfielder in the league, or the most promising one, to refresh that team, to give them new innovation, motivation. And that's how they held on. And you could see that this team was slowly petering out and of the energy from the wins. The hunger was going, the over-reliance was going. And some players like, Alexander-Arnold were overhyped. I said it from the start. The system suited them. The protection that they got from their midfield allowed him to do the things he did last few seasons. And this year he's being exposed because he's always been a bad defender, And when you don't have the system protecting you and your team doesn't keep up the levels that it should be, you get exposed. And you just see a lot of now the mid to average players not living up to the hype, the performance levels of previous years. And it just, there's only so much any manager can get out of a player for so long. If you think of Pep Guardiola, people are going on about Ruben Diaz and the great defence that he's rebuilt in a way. Pep's he has spent £500 million pounds on defenders in the 5-6 years that he's been here. And you compare that to Liverpool's net spend, and you compare Liverpool's net spend to everybody else's, not just C's, United's. They can't stay at the top with that spending. And this is where FSG have been kind of getting away with it, while the Kroenkes and Glaziers have been in the heat because Jurgen Klopp has been covering up these facts, and they need to start spending money. Liverpool are at a crossroad. Do they want to ultimately stay on top? Do they want to keep winning trophies and make the most of this run? This, I don't want to call it a dynasty, but this successful period. Or are they gonna let it go back to where they were, and because they're being frugal with their spending? I think this is why some Liverpool fans have not gotten carried away with it. They've enjoyed the recent successes, but they know they've needed investment in the team. And like I said, the only person who had a worse net spend than Jurgen Klopp was Mauricio Pochettino at Tottenham before he left. And this is the moment where it's a big decision, a big summer coming up. Well, they still got this window to make some changes, some additions, and they're going to stay in the elite, fighting for titles. They need to do this, and that is the position they're in. It's not a major rebuild. I think they need to find Van Dijk a new partner. They need to find at least competition for Trent. I think he's, I'm not saying he's completely gone off the boil, but his defending was always questionable. He's attacking, and the team system protected him a lot. Now that he's not, now he doesn't have the versatility that, whatever the process is not working at the moment. I don't know if it's the introduction of Thiago and they've adapted the system a little bit, or the overall pressing of the team has gone down, but it's not working and he's being exposed, and certain other players are being exposed, and they need to realign. They need to either make an honest assessment of Trent, can he become a better defender, can he improve his game, or do they need to bring in competition to inspire him to do that? And I just think that it's that crunch moment. What's it going to be at FSG? Are you going to give Klopp the money to rebuild this team, keep them up top, or are we going to slowly see the decline of this team and they're going to be dropping off again back to the top four? The only, as I said, even the great managers, Klopps, Guardiolas, the Fergusons needed the investment to stay on top, and the proof will be in the pudding. So it's all up to FSG to determine where Liverpool go from here. And I don't think they can pull the same schemes they did last time. Sell one great player, get two back, with the Coutinho deal, with the and getting Van Dijk and Alisson. I don't believe in this market anybody's going to pay 100+ million for any player. We saw United pull out of the Sancho deal. I don't think Mane or Salah are going to go for those values. That trick where they sell one of them and get two good players back and Klopp turns them into great players, I don't think that market is available. The ownership has to really put hard money on the table, spend some money that they've profited from their recent success in the Champions League and the league, and get some good quality players in for Klopp, a good centre back. I believe they need to get a right back. Midfield, Jordan Henderson's getting older. Wijnaldum, is he still staying? I don't know. I don't think there's... Thiago was a great addition, but I don't think he suits the system. I think he's a great player, but I don't think it works. It was a kind of a sacrificial midfield where they did all the hard work. They protected the back four, they pressed hard, and then you bring in a ball, a ball player ultimately who's brilliant, but he doesn't quite. He's kind of disrupted their rhythm, I think, and this is where you're seeing how when they don't have such a efficient midfield, their defense is exposed, their strikers come across as lazy, and everything just the press isn't as effective as it would be. So everything's just a little bit off, and I think they need to reevaluate the overall system, the players they need in, and FSG need to really think about how long they want to stay at the top. And because we've seen in the last 10, 15 years, it can change overnight. And City and Chelsea have been greatest examples of that.